All right, so this is the Bodice Ripping podcast. Yeah. I don't know.
Episode 1.
Episode 1, yes, with the book Dark Fever by, it was Karen Marie Moning, I believe.
Moning.
Moning.
Moning. Appropriate.
It was my book pick technically this week. I am Allie, if everyone else wants to introduce themselves.
And I'm Rachel. Hi.
I'm Gina.
I'm Lauren.
Yay, we're bodice
Yay!
ripping.
Okay, yes, and this is Bodice Ripping.
Awkward.
Yeah,
This is super awkward. We'll get the
that.
hang of it. Yeah, we'll get the hang of it.
That's what the margarita's for.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's what the
Yeah.
drinks are for.
What's
Definitely
everyone
don't-
drinking? I got vodka and Sprite.
Nice.
It's not just
Oh man,
vodka.
cat
Gina, are you
It's
just
not the
drinking
time.
vodka?
And Sprite.
and Sprite. Okay. I was say well, somebody's going hard.
Yeah, I have a wine and a coffee mug, so...
With
this
cats.
is the
With
cat.
cats
Oh my
on
God,
it.
cat. I just have a normal cat trying to climb into my lap right now. So.
Aw.
Except he's got a little bit of a drooling problem right now, so everything is kind of wet.
Ew.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good start to the romance novel podcast.
My cat is drooly.
Everything
okay.
is
That could be a
kinda wet.
euphemism for something, actually, so it kind of works.
Yeah, it could. I am drinking a hard cider. Cider
Nice.
Boys.
Awesome.
hmm
Yay. All right, so...
Okay, yeah, so Rachel, you have a synopsis of what the book is about?
Yep, I'm
'Cause
the only...
you're the only one with a
scrub
physical
a
copy.
physical copy, I guess, so... Here we go. So, Dark Fever, Book 1. When Michaela's sister is murdered, she leaves a single clue to her death. A cryptic message on Mac's cell phone. Journeying to Ireland in search of answers, Mac is soon faced with an even greater challenge. Staying alive long enough to master a power she had no idea she possessed. A gift that allows her to see beyond the world of man into the dangerous realm of the Fae. As Mac delves deeper into the mystery of her sister's death, her every move is shadowed by the dark, mysterious Jericho. While at the same time, the ruthless Vlaine, I guess is how you pronounce it, an immortal Fae who makes sex an addiction for human women, closes in on her. You have a cat behind you, Allie.
Yeah, he just jumped. It's not a big chair. He just jumped right up there.
Oh. As the boundary between worlds begins to crumble, Mac's true mission becomes clear. Find the elusive... Oh god, how do you pronounce the thing? I don't remember.
Sinsadu.
Sinsadu.
Sinsadu, I think.
Yeah.
It's Shisadu.
Oh,
Shisadu. Okay.
You're right.
I know it has a pronunciation in the book. Like,
Yeah.
at one point they bring it up.
And then I immediately forgot it and read it.
Yes,
how
me
it's
too.
written. So, the elusive Shisadu before someone else claims the all-powerful dark book, because whoever gets it first holds nothing less than complete control of both worlds in their hands. The end.
Bum, bum, bum.
That in itself is a lot for just, like, an
It's-
intro to a book.
Oh,
It
yeah.
also isn't really what it was about, so...
Not really, no. I think it's
No.
supposed to be, like... I'm kind of wondering if maybe the author had only planned for it to be one book.
It's possible.
And wrote that, and then wrote the book.
It's very possible that's how it went down.
There was a part at the end that said it, like, just came to her, and she had to write it even though it's nothing like anything she normally writes, so that's always a good start.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so do we want to, like, just one at a time go through what we thought about it, or just kind of start blathering?
I think
Maybe-
one at a time to start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so who wants to go first?
I will.
Okay, Lauren,
Hey,
you go first.
So what really bothered me is within like the first 2 chapters, she talks about painting her nails, and I know this is going to sound really dumb, but she talks about painting her nails, I'm not really a waitress, pink. And
It's always
I grew up with
pink.
I'm not really a waitress nail polish. It is red. It is red. It is red. It is red. And why would you include that detail if you're going to get it wrong? Like, this nail polish has been around since before I was in middle school, and that was within like the first 2 chapters, and I was like, nope, I can't believe anything in this book because she's a liar.
You know, for a book about,
And
like,
I've been holding that in for months or weeks.
the truth finally comes out. Yeah, no, for
So
a
that's
yeah.
my full view of the book.
awesome. Yeah, for a book about, like, dark fairies and stuff, she did talk about painting her nails, like, a lot.
Right? And it's always pink. She always
always
paints them pink.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
I
was
had much more of an issue with that detail than I probably should have.
Yeah, it was
Yeah, she seemed to go a lot into like detail about things that were completely irrelevant.
yeah, lots of closed descriptions that really kind of took me right out of the book.
Yeah.
Well, this is, like, I think, like, I liked the character. Like,
Yeah,
I
that
liked
was,
Mac. But it's just, like, the author just kind of said, oh, I'm going to make her, like, this dress-up girly girl nail polish type thing, and then just couldn't put it down.
Yeah.
And it's, like, just, she has to keep reminding you, like, this is what she's wearing today, and here's what color nail polish she has on. But if you take all that out, I actually like the character.
Yeah, I liked her too. It took me a while to kind of like her, but she's kind of like one of those unlikable heroines, which I actually like in a book. It's, nice to have a character that's not always quite relatable and quite perfect, so that was fine. But yeah, the author kind of like had to hit the nail over the head on that one too hard and like too many times, so it's like, okay, we get it. She's a girly girl.
Yeah, I would say
You
that
don't
was,
have
that was
to
one of
establish
my
it so many times.
Yeah, exactly. That was actually one of my biggest problems with her as a character, is that so often her description is the Barbie girl. She loves to wear like pastel pinks. She like constantly goes on about about her long hair and her giant boobs, which I'm pretty sure the size of her boobs changed with every description.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
But-
had a few moments where I was like, this book sounds like it was written by a man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that
then
was
and then okay. At one point, the character herself actually complains, like, people always call me a Barbie. I'm just kind of sitting there going, I wonder why.
Yeah, you're kind of a self-proclaimed Barbie, yet you're complaining, like,
Yeah.
you can be a Barbie, that's fine, but,
Like, I did, like, other than that aspect of her personality, I liked everything else.
Yeah.
It's just, that I had a big problem with.
yeah, definitely. What did we think about our leading man, Jericho Barons?
Do not get me started on that dude's fucking name.
yeah. Typical
Jericho
kind of,
Barons?
it's a typical kind of romance novel name, I think.
Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. Disclaimer, we don't usually read romance novels, so this is all kind of a kind of new territory.
We're learning as we go.
Oh yeah.
So, I'm actually kind of extremely upset that they're leading towards him becoming, like, the romantic. I knew it was coming because he's, like, the only consistent male character in her life.
Yeah.
But I'm genuinely kind of mad that he's going to be that guy, because he's just an ass.
Yes.
He is violent, abusive, like, regularly refers to the fact that she's just a tool for him. And it's like, okay, the only time he showed her any kind of affection was when she was dying.
Yeah, and when
Like-
I liked when he painted her nails at the end of the book. That was like cute.
Oh, yeah.
But other than that,
Yeah,
it's like,
And even then, he was still kind of an ass about it. Like, she's making him do this. I'm like, no, dude, she can't move. You don't have to do anything for her.
Yeah, that was my big complaint with him. Is I guess he's written to be this like sexy, mysterious, like badass, but he came off really like a big old asshole.
Oh, yeah.
He was just
I actually specifically, like, wrote down this quote from the book. I don't remember where it was at, because the Kindle, it doesn't have page numbers.
Yeah.
But it's just, like, he's described, it's just this one sentence. He was intensely masculine.
Yeah.
What?
I think that was
How
like
is
when
someone-
it first introduced.
Yeah, but
When it was.
like, how is someone intensely masculine? What does that mean?
Big muscles and a frown, I guess.
I would say just, like, this giant, like, hulk of a man, because he's definitely not described like that throughout the rest of the book. Like, he's described as
No.
having long hair.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, like, I mean, the typical romance guy, like Fabio, long hair, but, like, if you're describing someone as intensely masculine, I don't picture them with really long hair.
I didn't get that. I must have missed that.
She only mentions it, it's only mentioned, like, once. It's the only, like, description of him, really, other than the fact that he's just a man.
A manly man. Yeah, and I don't know if this was her intention to make him kind of mean and hard to get, so you want him more, I guess, or think he's more attractive, but...
That's definitely not how it worked.
Real life tip, boys, don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't be mean to girls you like, because it's
if
a
the
dick
first
move.
interaction, and for ladies, if the first interaction with the guy is that he pins you to the wall by your throat,
Run
Run.
away.
Don't deal with him.
Turn on.
Yeah, that's the kind of dude you probably don't want to get involved with. So, and I get that it's like a romance novel. I think it's a trope that you have this manly, kind of violent dude that later in the series will probably get toned down or whatever, or learn
The
to
Reformed
love.
Rake is what it's called.
The Reformed what?
The Reformed Rake is the name of the
Oh.
trope.
Ah, someone did her research.
It's from the Guild, I think.
Ah, gotcha.
Oh, okay.
So I'm guessing that's what happens to him is he gets reformed. But it's still kind of uncomfortable to read. Like, the older you get, the more you realize that that's not really the kind of dude you want to deal with. So,
Yeah.
yeah. I wasn't super attracted to him.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Against
he's first introduced, and she doesn't like him. So you're like, oh, that's the love interest because she doesn't like
She
him.
doesn't like
so
him.
Yes,
Obviously.
that-
But then they just kept going. Like, he never got better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he stays the same.
Yeah, I
He
think
saved her.
he
Does
did.
that kind of count?
Yeah,
Kind of.
he does
I mean,
he does get
let
like
her-
a little bit more. I don't necessarily want to say protective of her, because I do still like. I think that he kind of starts to see her as less of like this object for him to use.
Yeah, and more of a...
But that still doesn't happen until like the last like couple chapters in the book.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, it dragged on, too. Did anybody else think the book, like, dragged on? It was like nothing, and then the final event happened, and then it was just over,
Yep.
and you were like, oh,
Yep.
okay, I guess
Yeah.
it's done.
Yeah, I was like, oh, the book's finally getting started, and then it was like, read on in the next book. It's like,
Yep.
no, that's not how you end a book.
Yeah. Yeah, so...
Well,
I
I
think
liked it.
I know I did like it.
I really liked it. I didn't want to, but like, I got
Sorry,
to,
go ahead.
I got to like, I can't remember how far in, and I'm just like, oh no, I like it. I can't stop reading it.
It was strangely addicting, even though you're like,
was.
no, don't do that, you're stupid, and then you still want to know what happens, so I guess that's a...
Oh yeah, no, like I have huge problems with the book, but I did genuinely enjoy it. Like
Yeah.
I seriously contemplated buying the next one after I finished it.
I know,
Yeah.
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 And it's okay to do that with fiction, like, it's always good to realize the issues and the problems it has, but you can still like it
Yeah.
with knowing what those issues are, so...
Yeah.
Okay, so my next problem with the book.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be a romance novel, and I counted like 2 romance-ish sort of scenes.
I don't know if those can count as romance, if they're the ones that I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
With the, what's his face?
It felt
Oh,
like she
Blaine?
wrote this
Yes,
sci-fi
the
book,
CD.
and then
Yeah.
her publisher was like, no, honey, you need to stick to what you know. Make this a romance novel. So she, like, added in a couple scenes. And everything else felt like there was no romance. There was no sexiness. It was just like, oh.
She,
and
like,
these
towards
things
the
exist.
end, she
Yeah.
kind of, like, starts to hint at it with a little bit, I think, between Mac and Jericho.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there starts to become, like, these, like, intense moments between them. That's not just, like, hate-fueled. But with the Celia, I, for the life of me, can never remember his name. I know it starts with a V.
Blaine.
Vlaine.
That's it.
Yeah.
That was it, yeah. So,
With an apostrophe.
Yeah, 'cause
Yeah.
it's fancy.
yeah. Villain or something, probably. But it kind of seemed like his whole point was to just try and add in this other evil that didn't really ever show up except for those 2 scenes.
Yeah.
Like, I think his only purpose was for her to throw some sort of, like, sex scene into it. because it's
Yeah.
definitely also not a sex scene. And, like,
Yeah.
so, okay, from what I understood of, like, the beginning explanation from the book it's that the Seelie basically make people that they sleep with their, like, sex slaves. Like, they can't think about anything else. They can only think about having sex with the Fae.
Mm-hmm.
But he's trying to get her to, like, give him information and keep him informed on things.
Yeah.
So then why is he also trying to, like, force sexy time with her?
I kind of read it as he just kind of has an aura that just does that
It just does
automatically,
that?
I guess, but
I
he also kind of insinuated that he wanted to do it. I don't really know. I
Well,
didn't understand those
so
parts
there's
very much.
the scene in the museum where he actually almost does.
Yeah.
Like, he gets her, like, her panties are off, she's down on the floor, and he says something really derogatory. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it's essentially like, get on your knees, pretty much.
Yeah, I remember that part and
Yeah.
kind of going, ugh.
Yeah, and, like, they kind of try to make a point of specifying that, oh no, she is doing this willingly, his aura is making her want to willingly do it. I'm like, no.
No.
There's a word
still
for that.
rape.
It's rape.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on in this first book.
Yeah, actually, I did a little research too, because I'm like, what the fuck, no sex scenes? So I was looking for like sexy things that happen in later books, and apparently the author, I have my notes on it here. She like wrote a short, like little short story thing that goes into the first book, but it's from Jericho's point of view, called The Alpha Alternative. So you can Google it and read it. It's on the internet, but
Yay.
that part where he first comes to her little hotel room and they're arguing because he wants information why she's looking for this book and stuff.
Yeah.
And they actually do have sex there. It's kind of violent and a little rapey, and then he wipes her memory, so that's why we don't get to read it.
That just sounds like a lot like backpedaling to me.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
so...
people are complaining too much about there not being sex. Here, there actually was.
Yeah, they did have sex, but
Yeah,
she kind of
it's like
regretted
by
it, so
the
he wiped her memory.
Oh well.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, I didn't enjoy reading that because kind of read as a little bit of a little rapey, little violent, little like she was not 100% into it, so I didn't find it super sexy. And then the wiping her memory after, I was like, oh, okay, no.
So, like, the rest of the sex scenes then.
Yeah.
Rapey.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was, the first one was just 0 to 60. Like, there's nothing happening in this entire book, and then it's like, oh, she's walking down the street and just stripping, and there's people everywhere, and I'm just like, how did we get here?
What's happening?
Oh god,
what is happening?
What am I reading?
So when you read the synopsis on the back, and it's just like, oh, she's just hanging out at the pool, blah, blah, blah. Oh, and the she saw dew and blade. I'm like, where did these come from? It's just, it was pretty accurate, really, because that's how the book went. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It did. It did. It kind of just went from like 0 to 60.
And then back down to 0.
Yeah, and then back down to 0.
Yeah.
Like, that's
We'll
enough.
just go back to the bookshop and pretend like nothing happened, and it'll be fine.
One other thing that I thought was funny was it specifically mentions her car in the synopsis on the book.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's any mention of it in the book. Maybe one. Towards
Wait,
the
does
end.
it mention a car in the synopsis?
Yeah.
I don't.
Does
Well,
it?
maybe there was a different one. I thought it was.
It must.
I know she talks about cars a lot, which is kind of like another, like, I felt like personality trope that was just added in. She'd be like, oh yeah, she's totally the girl that all guys want. She's like this hot Barbie who's super into cars.
Here,
Like-
it says, Michaela Lane's life is good. She has great friends, a decent job, and a car that breaks down only every other week or so. And it's like, it doesn't mention anything about friends or a car.
Yeah.
Not once.
Yeah, that's
'Cause
true.
she
It never
has
mentions
none.
Yeah,
friends.
it just opens with her at the pool, and all of a sudden her sister's dead.
Yeah.
Like, which also, the way that they introduce that like, that blew my mind a little bit, because it's just like she gets a phone call, and then 2 weeks later, it's like after her sister's funeral and everything. I'm like, what just happened? Like, she describes
0 to 60.
this. She describes this whole like main plot driving point just gradually throughout the book about what happened, and not just like at the beginning, like, yes, her sister was murdered in this very mysterious way. Here's everything that's going on with it and why she's becoming so motivated to try to find her. It's just like vaguely describing things that happens. All of a sudden, she just gets this super weird voicemail, and then that's what spurs her to do it. I guess I wish that there had been a little bit more, like, explanation, like, behind, like, her feelings and her family's feelings and emotions, and not just, yep, she's dead, now everyone's super upset.
Yeah. 0 to 60.
Yeah.
Good theme for this whole book, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I also wrote down a specific category in my notes called weird shit. So,
Yay.
was anybody really, like, blown away that these fae, these, like, Seelie and Unseelie, are actually, like, space aliens? Did everybody else catch that?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was very weird.
Yeah.
Literally from space.
Yeah,
Literally from space.
that seemed odd, just to be like, oh, by the way, they're from space, because they couldn't possibly be from Earth. I was like, what? Really?
Like, it... Like, they're not... And it's not even just, like... She could have made it, like, oh, yeah, they're just this fictional folklore creature that's actually real.
Yeah.
No,
Space.
they're from space.
Rapey aliens, man.
Rapey
Like all good monsters.
Okay, can we talk about the Unseelie for a minute?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Please.
Do all of them have, like, individual names like the Gray Man? Because that just seems exhausting.
No. Because there were like the bodyguard ones.
The Rhino Boys.
Rhino
I was gonna
Boys.
say, like, they made it sound like the Gray Man was, like, the big, like, one of the big higher up, like,
Yeah.
general or whatever type dudes.
She mentioned a couple times that he's like a one-of-a-kind one. And there was
Yeah.
him, and there was like the one other one that she talked about.
Yeah,
But-
I was gonna say, it kind of seemed like she just kept running into, like, these super individual one-of-a-kind ones.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
there were also the bodyguards. I suppose they're probably more like the common kind, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the shades, too, I guess.
Because there might be a lot of the one-of-the-kind ones, so it might not be that weird that she ran into like 3 or 4 of them. If
That's
there's
true.
hundreds running around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
There was kind of a list at the end of the book, too, of some of the different names and categories.
Yeah, I was just trying to flip through and look for that. Death by sex fae is a category.
Oh yeah, that was
That's what Blaine is.
Yeah, that's what Blaine was.
Druid is mentioned in here, even though I don't know if they actually mentioned druids in the book.
They did.
Very, very briefly.
they?
It's like
Okay.
one of her lessons on
Yeah,
what they
like
are.
while she's doing research.
And it's very obviously a Googled answer.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, coming from the actual.
Yeah, I read this
I
one.
love
I was
that
like, now I'm
actual
not gonna be
druid.
happy
That
with
was
this
great.
section.
It's just like,
She
oh, I'm
just
just
Googled.
gonna copy paste this. Need a couple more pages.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. So I'm gonna take a stab, and I think Jericho is probably gonna be a druid, maybe if they're good guys.
I would say I thought she was leading towards him being one of the Seelie, but then she just kind of sticks in a little, oh nope, he's not one of the Seelie, like a sentence.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, Gray Man, the many-mouthed thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was gross.
Yeah, overdeveloped sex organs is one of the, is that the one with the mule-sized genitals?
That might be the one with the mule size. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
good,
yeah.
Good detail. Good. I wanted to read that with my own 2 eyes. Thank you. Thank you, Karen Marie Moning, for that one. Rhino Boys, Royal Hunters, I guess. They're like the ones with the hooves and the horns, like the devil. looking
Okay.
ones, which I don't think she ever ran into.
Yeah, she was afraid of them though.
Yeah, and then the shades. Were the
Oh yeah, those are
little-
the things that hung out around the bookshop.
Yep, and those are the only ones that are kind of mentioned in here, so. I'm sure there's more in the other books. How many books are in the series again? Did we ever look up?
5. Oh, wait, I have it open. 10 book series.
Oh, good lord.
Oh my god, that's too many.
I think
Yeah.
some of them look like
Nobody
spin-offs,
wants that many.
Okay.
Yeah,
There's,
because I was
there's
saying
like
in the
2
in
of
the
them that say a fever novel. So
yeah.
Oh.
yeah, I think there's 7 that are like in the actual like listing.
That's still a lot.
Yeah. I don't know how this gets stretched out for 7 books.
I don't know. I guess considering how long the first one stretched out, she might be able to stretch it out for, 6 more books, I guess. But,
Yeah.
Yeah, what should have been like 5 to 10 chapters of development was what, 25 chapters?
25, yeah.
Felt like I got to the middle of the book and then it ended.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was definitely not like the slowest book I've ever read though.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, that's
there
true.
was still like action, but it's just like not a lot of story action, I guess. It just kind of
Yeah.
coasted, and then had little like events that happened. But yeah.
I really like the little old lady that she hated.
Yeah.
favorite.
He was awesome.
Oh. Yeah, I don't think she ever got a name, but I hope she shows up in later books because
I think
Yeah.
she will.
I like her. I'm guessing she's gonna be the one to like train Mac how to properly use her powers, or tell her family history or something.
Probably.
Yeah,
I'm
background
probably guessing the
info.
family history
Yeah.
part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm leaning more towards the family history part because she just kind of just like out that she's adopted.
Yeah.
Like,
Surprise!
Surprise! Yeah, that kind of came on 0 to 60 again. Surprise, you're
Yeah,
adopted, and then it
again.
kind of never.
Yeah,
kind
never
of
got brought up
resolved
again.
itself.
like
So,
she calls her dad and like her dad doesn't even like admit it. Like it's kind
Yeah.
of insinuated that he's like saying, yeah, you're adopted by not saying that she's not adopted.
yeah.
But
I insinuated. It went on for like 4 pages.
Yeah. Yeah, that whole passage, it was a little heartbreaking actually to read that because she was really struggling with it, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, but then I'm like, okay, this is going on really like too long.
You know what the answer is, lady.
Yeah.
Go paint your fingernails.
Yep, I'm sure you'll feel better.
I'm totally
Aw.
adopted pink.
Yes. Oh.
oh,
I did like her hatred of biology. Like, oh no, I'll just pretend like the things I learned in school are made up.
Yeah.
Never taking a biology class again.
Yep.
That's a deep level of denial.
Yeah.
It's kind of
oh, yeah.
funny because I was
Go
thinking back to a biology teacher I had who said they don't do this project anymore because one of their students found out they were adopted. And
Oh,
like,
shit.
yeah. So we don't do that one anymore. But like I'm thinking that as I read it, and then she starts talking about her biology class and her like genetics part, and I'm just like, oh, okay, I guess it's not that uncommon.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Rachel?
Oh, just another point on my weirdness list. That spear that she gets.
yeah.
You know, to fight them. My favorite highlighted quote. This thing killed Jesus! Because surprise,
Well,
it's the
luckily
divine
she
spear
wraps it
or
in
whatever the hell.
tinfoil.
Yeah. Yeah, she keeps it wrapped in tinfoil in her purse.
Oh, speaking of which, I have the tinfoil
You know, that
ball
helps
here.
protect the
Oh! She just sticks the end of this holy spear in a tinfoil ball.
She's like, yeah, that'll take care of it.
Just make sure you don't leave it in your purse on the ground when you're getting attacked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep your hands on it
That
the
was
whole
smooth.
time. Yeah.
At some point, doesn't she start like? She stops keeping it in her purse and like tucks it into like her skirt or whatever pants she's wearing.
Pants. Yeah, right at the end when she goes into the neighborhood to find
But she
that
still
address.
has the tinfoil ball on the end of it.
Yeah.
Somehow. I don't know how that's
Like-
supposed to save you from
Efficient.
Well,
getting
plus
accidentally.
that's still gonna be super noticeable.
She wears her fat clothes. Remember, Barons tells her to wear her fat clothes.
Oh, that's right.
Yikes.
Oh, such a charming dude.
Yeah.
And why would she wear a rainbow skirt to go see a vampire? Like, what was that about?
She had to
Oh,
be
yeah.
herself, I guess, was the whole
important.
point. But
She has no self-preservation. I
no,
think that's what it is.
not really. She has no self-preservation, but she also has intense, like, plot armor, so it's like,
Oh,
she's not gonna
God,
die,
yeah.
but she's
Yeah.
just like, whoa, just running around, like, willy-nilly and somehow not dying, so...
There definitely were a few times I agreed with Jericho Barons.
Yeah.
He's,
Yep.
you know, it's like things that she definitely should have known better, and she's like,
I'm gonna dress like a rainbow
is
in this
fine.
goth paradise. It's like, oh god. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
That was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh, and then it seemed like every time he had her dress up to go out with him somewhere. Again, this is where like the descriptions of her boobs, I think, just got bigger every single time.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
she, I mean, like dresses that like exposed her boobs, but then it would be like, oh, they're like almost falling out of this super slinky dress that I have to wear.
Yeah.
Keep them in there.
Yeah. Also, it's in first person, so these are her thoughts and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think most women think about their boobs 24/7 and
Oh, I
how
do.
perky and
Exactly.
yeah, I do.
all the time.
You constantly think of how to just constantly describe them as bigger.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
yeah. Some of the with it being in first person, I think that's what made some of like the descriptions a little weird. Like they
Yeah.
just felt awkward. Like describing her outfits or like sometimes the monologues about the cars. Like
Yeah,
I
cars
like
stuff.
cars, but that was a little too much detail.
Yeah. She could have gotten away with it once,
Yeah.
but they just kept going.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was
Like-
every single car.
Yeah. It's like, okay, she likes cars, she knows about cars, but then it's like she sees a new car, and now I know how many horsepower this car has, too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
even though your
Yeah.
average reader is going to be like, I don't really care about this.
And
Where
plus
are my
they're-
descriptions of penises? Come on, I don't
Yeah.
care about the cars. Show me the dick.
There was one description of penis, it was not flattering. It was not a good one. Not what I was looking for.
No.
Yeah, that was
What was it, like,
Fine
hanging
without
down
that
to
one.
his knees the size of a baseball bat?
Yeah, that was the only penis description we got in this whole
That's
book.
it.
I'm like, fucking really?
I think it's the only mention.
Yeah, I kept expecting Blaine to be like the love interest and have it be kind of like Buffy Angel, you know, like
Yeah.
well, I didn't
None of
get that
that.
at all. That
I-
would have made it more interesting for sure, but no, it was just he just kind of seemed like a more evil kind of dickish version of Jericho.
That's possible, I guess.
Like
to be
All the
more
men
of
are
a
dicks
dick
in
than
this
if
series.
being more of a
saying
dick
something.
than Jericho
But we never
was
get
possible.
to hear about it.
Yeah.
Yes. Mhm.
But yeah, back to this thing being written in first person. First person is just a really difficult way to write a book, I think, without it sounding awkward. So yeah, like the descriptions and everything just threw me for a loop sometimes. And the tense too, she's like writing in her journal, I guess. So it's like from the future, but it's first person past
Yeah.
tense. Like that messed with me a little bit.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah.
And that didn't happen until like way later in the book. She started like talking to the reader directly. I'm like, oh good, now there's second person in here too. Oh god.
Yeah, there were definitely a few times when I just like realized that it's first person, so she's thinking these things, you know, apparently, and it's just nobody thinks those things.
No.
If you're gonna describe it, like do it outside of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then, you know, writing in her journal, I guess, these thoughts. It's like, okay, if you're doing this, do you have to describe every outfit detail that you're...
Yeah, it is now 5 years later. I remember exactly what I was wearing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, I get it, suspension of disbelief, whatever, but it threw me out of the book a few times.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it would be going along and you'd be like, oh, this is current, this is what's happening, and then it'd be like, later I would find out just how close I came to dying. It's like, well, wait, when is later?
Yeah.
When is now? When is later? What? When are we?
I also loved how that happened, like, before the big tense ending climax scene. I wish there was a climax. There wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But it's like, you already know she's gonna be fine because she's been talking throughout this whole book. Like, later I would discover, and she still hadn't discovered it. So it's like,
Yeah.
not dying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Like-
the whole plot armor thing, I guess.
And it's just like, it cuts the suspense. Like, she just goes like, oh, later I would discover this. It's just like, okay, so what you were building up to, you have now just completely cut short.
Yeah.
And moving on.
Yep.
We don't need to, foreshadow and have plot when we can just tell you that later we figured something out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love to read the rest of these and see if there's ever a point where she figures these things out, or if that's just the end of it.
Later, I figured out that my nail polish should have been red.
Yeah. It changed my whole life. Oh, yeah. Part of me does want to read the rest of these just because I'm like, well, now I want to know what happened.
Yeah.
But I don't know if
Yeah.
I could make it through, like, 8 more of these.
I could do
I got
2
other
more.
shit to read,
Read it and
too.
report
So.
Yeah.
I could do a trilogy, but
Yeah.
7 is
two or three. 7 is excessive.
not
That's a
enough for
lot.
this story unless something dramatically changes, which it doesn't sound like it does.
No.
There's got to be like a Wikipedia summary somewhere that just tells us
Yeah.
what happens
Yeah.
without having to sit through it all.
I know there was, because I was trying to find the synopsis for the actual book, and it just sent me to the Wikipedia page for the book.
Can we talk about the Lady Barons? What's up with her?
The Lady Barons?
Lady Barons.
Oh,
Fiona?
Oh.
Yeah.
Fiona,
Is
yes.
that her name? I liked her for the tiny appearances that she made.
Yeah.
I liked her. I didn't quite get her hatred of Mac.
I think it's because
I think
she's in love
jealous.
with Barons.
Yeah.
And she's jealous.
Love triangle.
Like, I know
Cool.
that that's what they were trying to go for,
Yeah, it didn't read
but
that
I
way.
still, I didn't read that way. I didn't get it. Like, I liked her as a character, but she is, like, super black and white. Like, either she's trying to help Mac, or she's just hating her and ignoring her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very back and forth. Like, there
Yeah.
was no, like, she'd go out and she'd be like, oh, you're gonna die out there, whatever. And then, like, something bad would happen. She'd be like, oh my god! Are you
Yes, yeah.
She was confusing. I'm guessing all this stuff is expanded upon in later books, but it's like, I wish you would have just
Done
done
it
it in this
one.
first book.
Yep.
Because this, I don't know, that's kind of like a cheap way to draw out the suspense and make you want to read other books, is just like completely omitting some like character details. So you're like, okay, now I gotta read this other fucking book so I can figure out what the hell's everybody's problem is.
The hells.
The hells.
I like the vampire guy. He was great.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
funny.
Did he
I don't think he was meant to be funny, but he was kind of funny.
did he actually die in the end, or is he coming back? Because I
He's
did
probably coming back.
I'd hope so.
Yeah, they don't say if he's actually dead or not, but because
But
I
they
think
said
I
he's
think
nearly
like,
impossible to
followers
kill,
think he's
and they
dead.
didn't
Yeah.
show his death on the. I was gonna say on the screen, but
yeah, and
The
I
book
think
screen.
Yeah,
at least in the Kindle version there is like
there is a screen of that one.
the
Go on.
yeah in the Kindle version there's like the first chapter of the next book,
Yeah.
and I want to say in that even they mention like, oh, we don't know if he's dead. Like,
Cool.
yeah. Like, okay.
I did love that last scene where you're like, oh holy shit, he actually is a vampire.
Yeah. Oh, it's true.
Yeah, 'cause the whole time they were
Say
like,
it.
"Is
Say what
he?"
you think I am.
He might just be this
Jerk
weird
with
dude.
glitter, that's how you can tell.
Yeah, I guess they were kind of going for it. Is he not? Ooh, but it was pretty obvious he was definitely not human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I thought he
Yeah.
was like a fairy though, but then he was so different from all of them too.
Yeah, so now there's Fae and Unseelie Seelie, and now there's also vampires. Are they also space aliens?
Probably.
Oh, but yeah, and then so what? The leader of the Fae is human?
As far as I could tell,
I guess that part was really confusing.
Yeah.
I think all that was determined was not Fae, but probably
Yeah.
human.
Yeah. Probably human, because that's the thing. Is she's just like, it's just a normal dude.
Yeah. It was
Maybe he had a really strong glamour or something.
It could be,
that's
but it kind of
possible.
seems like her whole thing is that she's supposed to be able to see through those. Like, no matter
Yeah,
how
and
strong
if her
they
sister
are.
could see through it, she wouldn't have dated him. Ideally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a weird part. I didn't quite.
Yeah.
I felt like they kind of like only brought up her sister when they needed to advance the plot a little bit.
Yeah.
Like what little plot there was. Because most of the book is just her like thinking about her sister.
Wandering
Right.
around Ireland, ill-advised.
Yeah. Like she doesn't actually bother to like do any farther research into like where her sister died or going to her apartment or anything.
Well, she did
Until,
it a
like-
few times though.
A few times, yeah, but it was kind of like mentioned, and it was, I felt like in the earlier, at least earlier in the book, it was kind of supposed to be more of like getting like her emotional turmoil about everything like through to the readers, whereas later on when she does it, all of a sudden there's this huge like plot jump forward, and she found who her sister was dating, and she's running off to go like figure everything out, and
Yeah.
like, where is this coming from?
I thought it was funny that it took her so long to figure out that she would have had a journal. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
if this was such a big part of her personality, that would have been the first thing you thought of.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause-
And probably one of the first things you would have told the cops.
Yeah. Yeah. Because it's
And
not
the
just
other
like,
plot
oh, she
hole
liked to
is-
write in her journal. It was every single day she wrote her journal and then hid
Yeah.
it. Every day for her entire
Yeah.
life. She had dozens of them. And then it's like, oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Huh. I wonder if
Well,
that's
she did
important.
that.
Yeah. That.
So how did she die in a dark zone that the police apparently ignore, and yet the police found her?
Good point.
No, I don't
Yeah.
think she didn't die in the dark zone. I don't think. I thought like the alley that she was murdered in was still
Oh,
in one
yeah,
of the
that's
like
right.
the city areas.
Yeah, she wrote the clue to the house in the dark zone.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
But that also was a weird kind of part because it's like, oh, here's her makeup bag that is still sitting in this alley. How many weeks
Like
or
months later.
months later,
Yeah.
and hasn't
Right.
been thrown away?
And if
oh,
you're dying, your first thought is, I'm going to use this file to embed an address into the side of the building.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the police saw that and went, not important.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it doesn't exist.
It's probably nothing.
Who knows?
Plus, we
How
didn't
long
have time
that's
to
been
go
there.
through everything.
Yeah.
Although to be fair, it was an address in the dark zone, and they're like, this doesn't exist. But then you'd think they'd still do something about it. But whatever, it's
Look into it a little
plot
farther,
point.
yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't like how kind of like incompetent and like kind of brutish she made a lot of like the Irish people seem.
Yeah.
Like when she's in the museum and is like stripped and the glamour fades, everyone is like hooting and hollering at her. And she makes a point of saying like, oh, in the South someone would have put a coat on me. I'm like, yeah, I'm betting someone in Ireland would do that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kept randomly remembering that, you know, like she's from Georgia and she's in Ireland and just kind of like imagining the accents. And it was,
Yeah.
I just kept laughing. I shouldn't because I'm sure those interactions have happened before. But it's like, you know, I read them in my accent throughout the entire book and I'm like, oh wait, Deep South, Ireland. Ah!
Yep, yeah, I did that too. She only made a point of actually writing in, like, an Irish accent if it was just some, like, kind of, like, random, only gonna show up once character.
Yeah.
But she never wrote Mac with an accent, so yeah, I was just reading it with the Midwestern accent. And
Yeah.
again, like, every now and then she'd mention being from Georgia in the South. I'm like, oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
a thing.
She didn't really have any southern, like, colloquialisms like
Yeah.
that. She didn't say y'all.
Yeah.
She didn't say, like, she had a weird, like, little swearing thing, but, she didn't, like,
The weird swearing thing was.
yeah, ass was petunia or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, whatever. You're like 23 years old. You can swear. It's fine.
It just, oh my gosh, it just reminded me of someone who, like, just never swears, but will just say, like, oh gosh darn it. And, like, you can say damn it.
Yeah.
Well, it's like she'll go through this whole book just not acting Southern at all, and then randomly be like, "Well, in the South."
Yeah. Yeah, she's got this
You
huge
go, oh,
Southern
yeah.
The way
pride, but
I
none
was
of the
raised.
mannerisms.
And it's
Yeah.
like, no one would know that unless you said it.
Yep.
Yeah. It was weird. Lots of weird stuff.
So many weird stuff.
So
Like,
many weird choices, but
with all of the problems that I have with this book, I'm kind of surprised that I did enjoy it.
yeah,
Like-
it's. I mean, the concept is cool. Like, I always like books about, you know, the fae or fairies and stuff. It's interesting stuff. Even if these are space alien fae, but
Yeah.
I can't get over that. I just can't get over that.
Space A- Oh yeah, I think I looked it up and I found, like, the terminology of what that was supposed to be. Because I guess there's an actual term for what the space fae are.
Oh,
It's the
Draenei.
yeah.
yes, the Draenei. No, so in the little, like, term part of the book, it says that they are called the Tude Dana, or the Tude?
Oh, the Tuaday?
The Tuade,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
And the description is just a highly advanced race that came to Earth from another world. It's just sea fae.
I don't think that's the actual folklore.
No,
I think
No,
that's
I'm
just
pretty
from the
sure
book.
it's not.
Where did the spear come from?
The
Jesus.
spear...
It came from space also.
Yeah.
That was one of their things, and then somehow it stabbed Jesus, and then
So
Yeah,
so
okay,
the
so
spear
the-
that
Ended up in
stabbed
her
Jesus
purse.
from space.
In tinfoil.
It's the,
yeah.
the Spear of Luin, Spear of Long... I honestly can't pronounce that. Spear of Destiny, the Flaming Spear.
Mm-hmm.
It's the spear used to pierce Jesus Christ's side at his crucifixion, not of human origin.
Mm-hmm.
It is a two-a-day light
Yep.
hollow, and one of the few items capable of killing a fae, regardless of rank or power. So
But
it can
not
kill any
vampires,
fae.
though.
Yeah.
Yes, but not vampires.
No.
Spear from space. Space spear.
Space spear.
Space
I
spear.
missed a really good naming opportunity.
Yeah, come on.
Also, why would they have one of their own relics that can, like, it's the only thing that can kill them?
Yeah,
but
why would they
their
bring that to
relic.
Earth with them?
Probably to fight the Unseelie.
Oh,
I
it
guess.
could be. But it just backfired and can kill both of them.
Yeah.
I guess.
Well, and remember, they can't tell which things are theirs. Like, they don't know how to find their own things the same way she does.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so humans
that was
on
great.
Earth can see the things and have powers against them, but the Fae
people that made them.
themselves cannot. Yeah, that's weird. I feel like the alien thing was meant to be like, oh, aliens, easy. Now I don't have to think about like their origin or how they work into this. But then this opened up some really big plot holes in the process.
Their
Like,
origin
just wait,
is...
shit, where did they come from?
There, I fixed
Aliens.
it. Nope, you made it worse.
Yeah, I think the actual
Oh,
thing I
God.
did when describing this book to Lance was aliens.
Aliens. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
It was just mentioned so casually, too. And then she's just like, wait, from space? He's like, yeah. And she's like, okay.
Cool.
So many things were just like casually like, yeah,
Seems
this is just
legit.
how it is.
Yeah, this poor girl, like, I'd be freaking out. And she's just like, oh, whatever. My sister's dead. You're hot, but I hate you. Oh, well. Like,
I feel like
Woman.
they like, in the beginning, they tried to be like, oh, she doesn't believe this. She's totally freaking out about it. But she still came across as just being kind of like, whatever.
Whatever, that's dumb. Yeah. Fun stuff. This was a good pick, Allie.
Yeah, yeah.
Yay for
And it's
random
like-
trips to Barnes and Noble.
Yeah.
I've read
The
books
next one
that
should
were
have
so
more
bad
sex.
they were unreadable, and this was not
Oh.
that.
Yeah,
Yes,
thank
like,
God.
yeah.
It was bad in all of the best ways.
Yeah.
It was bad, but still enjoyable. Like,
Yeah.
I
Yep.
would still recommend people to read this.
Yeah.
Like,
That's-
With a
maybe not,
filter.
like, if
Put
you want
your-
to...
put your filter on.
Put your
Yep.
filter on, yep, and
Put your feminist filter.
Disclaimer. Just put a disclaimer when you recommend it to people.
yeah. Well,
Disclaimer involves aliens
Involves alien
and does
rape.
not follow tenses very well. And it doesn't really start till the end.
yeah.
Yeah.
I can't get over that scene when she's just walking down the street taking her clothes off. I remember I'm just reading that and like, what?
Yeah, I was super confused
The
by that too. Like all of a
museum,
sudden,
too.
all of a sudden, she's just so horny. She has to strip,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, what is going on?
I don't think anyone on this planet has ever been that horny, but
I don't
That's
know.
the point. But it's
that's
just
the point, I guess. But
I-
still, it's like, oh.
That's because
Just
they're
from going from
aliens, so they're not
absolutely-
on Earth.
what was that? But just going from like absolutely no like sexual anything at all for the entire book to I'm just walking down a public street stripping because I'm so damn horny. Like,
Yeah.
oh, here we are.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
We're just gonna make up for it all in 3 pages then. Okay, that's how it's gonna be.
I was definitely like, oh, okay, here we go.
Whoa. Oh. Well, yeah,
and
and
then
then
the
it
museum
happened.
too, when she's like taking off her necklace and
Yeah.
her bracelet. Like nobody does that.
No.
I've definitely left a necklace on before. Like
Yeah,
it's
I
like
leave my-
it's like one of the long ones. It's like swinging and hitting people in the face.
Yeah, I mean, I leave my Fitbit on half the time. It's like,
You
hey,
gotta
let's
get
check
those
that heart rate
exercise.
while I'm getting into it. Yeah, it technically counts as exercise, I guess.
Have you ever gotten enough steps while doing it?
You know, I haven't checked. Next time that happens, I'll let you know.
I would get a
4,000
Fitbit
steps,
if that was.
woo!
It's impressive.
Yeah.
Uh,
That is a giant straw.
It is.
yes, that was a giant straw.
Thematic.
Wow.
It's green like an alien.
It is green like an
Aliens.
alien.
What about that like beauty stealing one? That was an interesting concept.
That was
Ooh.
the Gray Man, wasn't it?
Yeah,
The Gray Man was the one who stole
Was it?
beauty.
yeah.
Great. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I liked that one. That was
That was
Yeah.
really neat.
I did like that one. That was super interesting. It was like that actually gave me kind of chills a little bit. Like that was genuinely creepy.
yeah.
Yeah.
I would have. I like that. I think it would have been a little bit more interesting if he didn't necessarily just steal beauty, but like it made himself like a little bit more attractive, so that maybe he didn't need to use the glamour as much.
Yeah,
And
that's
maybe
where
he
I
could've
thought
passed-
it was going, but then it didn't.
It just
Yeah.
he just stole the beauty so that everyone would be as ugly as he was, or something like that.
Yeah, I thought it would have been great if he just turned into like the super beautiful, like creature under the glamour, and
Yeah.
like if she had met him a little bit later after seeing some of the other Unseelie and been like, oh, this must be like royalty or one of the good guys. Like, well,
Yeah.
we'll go talk to him.
Yeah.
I do like how she kind of passed off like him noticing her actually like seeing him and not the glamour.
Yeah,
It's like she tried to like pass it off as just like the shy, like, oh crap, he just saw me, but like coy, flirty kind of thing.
Yeah. Like he still had the glamour on.
Yeah, because that, I don't know if I would have been able to do that. Like,
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah,
on
the
her.
whole thing about not being able to eat fries ever again was like the most believable part of
Yeah.
the whole
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't either.
Like, if the author is good at anything, it's like describing hideous things really well.
Yeah, I definitely felt that with that one, and then the many-mouthed one
Yeah.
sounded really yuck also.
Mhm.
Another thing that I like too with the gray man, because he preys on other women, and you see this trope a lot in other books where the heroine's like, I'm not like other girls, blah blah blah, and puts other girls down. But this one, she was like genuinely horrified about what were happening to these other women and really
Yeah.
wanted to like help and save them. And like
Yeah.
at the end, she's like fighting for him, like, yeah, this is for that woman that died to the gray man and stuff when
Yeah.
she stabbed him.
I really
So I
like
thought that
too.
was
Yeah,
that was really
nice. That was
nice. It's
good.
like, yay, ladies lifting up other ladies is one of the awesomest things that
Yeah,
could
especially
happen,
with
so.
like the Barbie girl stereotype.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
It was nice that she didn't fall prey to that. I'm so pretty and I'm prettier than everyone else and I'm unique and blah 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 and I hate other girls. Like
Competition
that's
thing,
yeah,
yeah.
competition thing. It's like I don't like when that happens. So
Yeah, and like she's got like the stereotypical like Barbie girl type description, but her personality. Hi, Ginger.
oh, puppy.
Her personality
Ginger would like to
did
say
not
hi.
match. I felt her personality did not match that stereotype at all. Like she was so not like the Barbie girl personality, other than feeling the need to like be super into pink.
Yeah.
But
I don't think that personality really exists for real.
oh no,
Like-
it doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't. But it's definitely going to be like a trope in these books, especially
Yeah.
like the more modern setting books.
That's a good
Yeah.
point. Like the author doesn't just make her into this ditz.
Yeah.
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 She was a little ditzy sometimes. I'm just like, how can you be that stupid? But like
Yeah.
the whole just like wandering.
Yeah. But she was also
Wandering
really
through
smart
a
a lot
dangerous
of the
city.
times too. And like, she was really driven, and I think she came up with like good ideas to solve a lot of her problems. Like she figured that stuff out herself.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
she didn't have the best, sense of self-preservation, but aside from
Yeah.
that, I think she was very capable.
Definitely. Well, that's probably a lot of like her grief over her sister dying and stuff, and like just kind of this numbness to pain and whatever, and just like you said, being driven and like wanting to solve this thing, maybe kind of cut off that self-preservation part of her, and she's just like, yeah, let's go do this thing without really thinking about
Yeah.
this might be a little dangerous, but so yeah, go Mac. You go,
Yeah.
girl.
Yeah, I
We
did.
should start calling Barron's cheese, and then they could be mac and cheese.
Well, the book did have some cheese in it, so
Yeah.
you're
A
gonna
lot
get
of
that.
cheese.
You're gonna get that in this genre, I think.
Oh, yeah. Hopefully.
Hopefully, this is what we're doing this
Yeah,
whole thing
yeah.
for. Is we want the cheese.
Bring on the cheese.
Bring on the cheese and the super weird description of dicks. That's what I'm here for.
How many ways can we describe a dick in one paragraph?
Mule-sized.
Mule-sized
Mule-sized.
genitals.
And
That's
done.
what we got. Done. That's the only one you get.
I do find it rather amusing that that's kind of what spurred us to pick this book, which is the one randomly read sentence: mule-sized genitals. What?
We're like, yes, we need to read
We
this.
need to know more
I need to
about
know what
this.
is happening.
Yeah. And now we know, and it was just as weird and wonderful as we'd hoped.
It was weirder than I thought it was going to be. I thought
Yeah,
it was just
it
going to be
was-
really badly written erotica, and then it's like, nope.
There's an actual,
No.
like, plot and shit to this. This is, yay! More than we bargained for.
Yes.
It's a New York Times bestseller, apparently.
Really?
That's what it
Nice.
says on
Wow.
Amazon.
Yeah, it was really well rated on Amazon, because I remember looking at it online.
It's got 4.5
and it had, like,
stars.
4.5 stars.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
too many.
There's too many.
I mean, I've read worse books with, not higher rated, but like, this one I'd say maybe a 3. But there are some where I'm like, this deserves
Yeah.
negative stars, and it's got like 4. And I'm like, who did this?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure I would rate this one quite as high as a 4.5, but I mean, it still wasn't bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the people who really, really like it, really like it.
Mm-hmm.
So that helps rate it higher, I guess. But we are looking at it through more of a critical lens, I think, than just sitting down and being like, I'm just going to read this for fun, and there's going to be sexy times, and it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
But our whole point is to rip it, so we're kind of looking for like those things to be wrong with it in the first place, which changes our star rating, I think, a little bit. But
Yeah.
I like enjoying it, though. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. I definitely, I tried not to go into it to, like, find things
Right.
wrong with it.
Yeah.
but-
Because it's, you know, you go into this, in general, like, you can't approach this genre too seriously because you're not going to
Yeah.
find one that doesn't have something wrong with it.
Yeah.
that's true.
Yeah.
That's really true.
Yeah, the romance part of it seemed like an afterthought, though.
Mm-hmm.
Did any of you, I don't know if it's in yours, Rachel, but like in the Kindle one, at the end there was like an author's note, and she kind of talked about
Yeah.
writing it and how it's so different from what she normally writes, and just like she doesn't do fantasy, and this hardly has any of what she usually does, like the romance stuff. So, I mean, she's aware of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can definitely, for it
But
being something that she doesn't normally write,
Yeah.
I do still think it was genuinely good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to read some of her other stuff.
Yeah,
I-
like the not Dark Fever series.
Yeah, I think she does a lot of the traditional, like, the bodice ripping Scotsman Highland kind of thing, I think is what she
Oh,
usually
I
writes.
so can't wait
Yeah.
for those.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Spoiler
You,
alert, for our
um,
next one, we'll be doing one of those, so.
Yes. I'm so excited.
I'm very excited for it. But we'll announce that at the end, so.
Yes.
I love how she's just, I mean, sorry, I don't know, I always start sentences with I love how, but this doesn't actually have anything to do with that. But it's just, you know, oh, we're getting away from the Highlander thing, let's just do something different. What's different from Scotland? Ireland!
Modern day Ireland, thank you very
yeah,
much.
there you go. And throw some aliens in there, and good.
Done!
Done.
And an underground tunnel network. Don't forget about that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm trying to decide if like the fact that the Seelie and like the Fae are actually supposed to be like aliens in this, if this technically doesn't make it fantasy but sci-fi.
Ooh. Good question.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Yeah.
it's
I mean-
more to do with like how it's written than the actual topic. Like a lot of people say Star Wars is technically fantasy, even though it's got like a sci-fi setting.
Yeah.
It follows a
I could say
fantasy
Star Wars.
story
I think
more
Star Wars
closely.
is more
Yeah.
sci-fi fantasy though. Like
Yeah.
it's both.
But
Yeah.
like sci-fi tends to have more like actual science, actual basis
Yeah.
for things.
That's true.
And Star Wars doesn't. It just, you know, makes up whatever it wants.
Yeah.
Which is great. I love Star Wars, but
Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely.
I think just having aliens instead of Fae wouldn't change the genre.
That's true.
Well, and they do group sci-fi and fantasy together.
Right?
Yeah, they do
at
that
the
fairly
bookstore
often. Yeah.
Anyway, so.
Yeah, there's so much debate about this. Like there is no way.
Yeah. Yeah, just lump
It
them both
gets so
together and
muddy.
be done with it. Yeah. But yeah, I'm glad we did pick this for our first one because I don't know about you guys, but I generally read mostly sci-fi fantasy novels anyway, so
Yeah, I'm
it's like not too jarring to jump into like a Highlander romance, which is like something like historical
Yeah.
stuff I don't really read. So
It was a nice
Historical
easing
fantasy.
into this, I think.
historical fantasy.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that could be fun.
And it was good. Like it wasn't one that was hard to get through, so I enjoyed that.
Yeah, there were a couple chapters where I had to just set it down and be like, oh god, I don't want to slog through these. A couple of them were like that, but it wasn't like I had to, put it down and just never pick it up again because I would never make it through. It wasn't like that, so it's
Yeah.
just like,
It's fun.
okay, I gotta get over this hump of weirdness and then we're good to go.
I spent most of the book being like, but where's the sex?
I know.
Yeah.
That was probably the most
Yes.
disappointing part of this whole thing,
Yeah.
was we went into it wanting the sexy times. That's what we're here for. And there was nothing.
And
No sexy
every time I
times.
would talk to Tim about it, he'd be like, "Has there been hot fairy sex yet?" And I'm like, "No." It's like, "How far are you?" Like 80%. Like maybe it's just saving up for a big extravaganza at the
Cole.
end. But no.
Extravaganza. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be like,
I
hey,
finished
Cole,
it.
I got to a sexy page. And then it would be over.
Mhm.
And that was the whole book.
Mhm.
Yep. Yeah, that's like that was the number one question that I would get asked when I would be like, "Oh yeah, I'm reading this book." "Oh yeah, there's some really bad sex scenes in it." No.
No.
There's none.
Zero sex. None
Zero
sex.
sex.
Yeah.
I did like how the almost ones were written though, so
Yeah. There was like
it was not cringy except the, rape part.
rape scenes.
The rapey nature was cringy, but like the writing itself was not
Right.
cringy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So when we were talking about, God damn it, Vlane. Yes,
Yes.
I remember. We were talking about Vlane and like his aura of
Sex.
sexy time.
Yeah.
Husband sent me a message that just goes, "That's just a magic roofie."
That's what I was gonna say. I was trying to think of things to like talk about, and I'm just like, fairy roofies, and then I forgot. So I'm glad you brought that
Fairy
up.
roofies. Yeah.
Fairy roofies. Yeah, that's a good term for it.
Roofiora.
Always cover your drinks.
Yeah.
I don't know how that works
Pro
with magic
tip.
roofies. I don't know how you're gonna do that with a magic roofie, but
Yeah. Got any other thoughts? Likes, dislikes, other weird shit?
Weird shit was the best part.
Yes. That was good.
There were times that made me put the book down and just look at the wall and be like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
It was just the right balance of a weird and not terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I do have like a weird thing. Like
Ooh.
whenever she sensed one of these objects, she would get nauseous
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and like puke everywhere.
and like puke everywhere. Like that is a terrible
Terrible
like,
power
sense.
to have.
I don't want that power.
And then
Well-
Barron's is like, "You gotta not do that. Here, hold it."
Get over it, hun.
You just like throw her in the deep end.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's like,
And,
oh
like
man.
at the very end when it's like she just starts like throwing up and passing out and like he's like, "What's
Yeah.
wrong?" It's like, what the fuck do you think is wrong?
This
Yeah.
thing that's been happening that you know is gonna happen. It happened. Yeah. Barron's was definitely kind of I'm gonna throw you into the deep end, because when they were going
no
to like
joke.
when they were going to fight the like, "Oh, we're gonna have you practice fighting a fae with your spear," and he's like, "Let's go fucking take out the gray man." It's like,
0
you want
to
her
60.
to practice this on like a mannequin first or something?
Yeah,
Like she
yeah.
literally has no fighting experience, and you're gonna make her fight this.
I love
A horrible
the friggin' just,
creature.
like badass kung fu scene at the end. Where did that come from?
Yeah, that took
Yeah.
me out of the
Is
action
that-
too, because I'm like, wait a minute, she's not. No.
Well, I'm wondering if that's part of her like lineage.
Maybe.
Like she
They're
just knows how to
natural
fight.
fighters or something. But it was just weird because it's like she goes from incompetent to just
doing kung fu.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah, that came off as a little bit Mary Sue-ish. Like, oh, by the way, I'm good at fighting now, I guess. Like, with absolutely no training. It's like, okay, I guess. But
and never acknowledged again.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yep, that happened.
Yep.
Sometimes she had instincts, and other times she really, really didn't.
Yeah, the instincts were either way there or way not there.
Yeah. And like
Interesting.
Baron suddenly being like just this superhero kind of threw me for a loop a little bit. Like, he's alluded to being, like, kind of mysterious, and the whole thing where he can just, like, walk through the shades and they just, like, kind of, like, back away from him.
Mm-hmm.
That was really weird, but that's what made me thinking that she was going to introduce him as some kind of other type of Seelie. Like,
Yeah.
but he's also still super intimidated by... intimidated? What? Intimidated by just the regular unsealing and everything. But then he comes in that last, like, fight scene and just, like, annihilates this vampire. And it's just like, well, then why do you need her to do all the fighting?
Well, she weakened him, remember?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, she weakened him. But still, he was also the one who took out the gray man. Like,
Yeah.
she's kind of basically almost dead because, like, the thing's, like, got her or whatever.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And he just pops up and, like, stabs it. Like, well, why didn't you just do that in the first place?
Yeah.
Well, he didn't stab it right away. Remember, he berated her for like.
Oh,
2
yeah,
minutes,
he yelled at her.
Stupid bitch! You shouldn't have done this. And she's like, "Oh God, please stab it so I don't die."
Yeah.
She's just like, "Rah, rah, 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 rah." It's like, all right, we know. Yeah.
That was not the time for a
If you
lecture.
don't kill it,
Yeah. Lecture her after the thing is dead, not while she's like hanging by her hair, waiting for it to unfreeze.
Oh, God, that's right. He had it
Yeah.
by her hair.
Oh, that'd be so painful. He's a dick. He's such
and then
a dick.
he's like telling
Such a
her that
dick.
she needs to kill it before, like, the thing unfreezes. But he's standing there just wasting time
Yeah.
while it's frozen.
Yeah.
Good times.
Good times. I hope he becomes more likable in the rest of the
yeah,
series, because I
really
really
do.
did not enjoy him.
I was like trying to find like an angle where it's like, oh yes, this is an attractive romantic lead, and it's like every time I try, I'm like, it's not there. There isn't one. There is no way he is likable, and not even like the unlikable kind of way. You know, like Spike and Buffy. But
Yeah.
no, he's just a jerk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plot twist, it's gonna be the inspector. He'll be the
Oh.
lover.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, honestly.
So in the first chapter of the next book that I read, the inspector does kind of like come to her and just be like, he suddenly starts being all like, yeah, there's this whole part of the city that just doesn't exist. Like, all of a sudden he just kind of like starts to know and like insinuate that there's something weird going on.
Mm-hmm.
So it's entirely possible it could be the inspector.
Called it.
Love. Now it's a love square, I guess, with Blaine,
Love
Jericho, and Inspector Duffy.
Oh my god, so I can see it being like, so there's Fiona who's in love with Jericho.
Oh,
There's
God.
Jericho who ends up falling for Mac. Mac falls for the inspector, but the inspector falls for Fiona.
Nice.
And then Blaine's just into everyone.
Yeah.
Blaine's just over there like,
New
fuck
fan
me.
fiction.
Fuck me.
I am the sex.
I am the sex.
The sex.
That was basically his only point, was to be the sex. So.
Yeah. Well, she says that he's like a death by sex fae.
Mm-hmm.
But is it ever actually said that they die if they sleep with them? Like,
It
she
says
very
that
heavily...
in, like,
gist
in
of
like the
it.
glossary at the end, but I don't know if it says that in the book.
I think,
Right, but
I
just
think-
from like Mac's
No,
perspective.
it does. He like, she asks if, like, she kind of figures it out. She's like, all the other ones have a thing, so is your thing sex? Like, will I die? And he's like, well, not if I stop it.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Yeah,
So they
he's
can
like,
use
I
their-
can turn it off. You can totally trust me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Even though I'm stripping in the middle of the street, not of my own volition. That's
No,
fine.
no,
in the
Come
middle
on.
of a museum surrounded
Yeah.
by children. After you
Yeah.
forced me to get on
Yeah,
my
it
knees
wasn't
like a
so
dog.
much.
Yeah.
It's not so much the stripping; it's the fact that she didn't realize she had taken off like her bra.
Yeah. It was just
Yeah.
gone. She was like, whoa, all right.
Close to the gutter, here we go!
Alex just drinking.
You have to.
Yeah, I finished my mug of wine, so,
I noticed you switched over to water there, so.
yeah. The door's closed, and I don't really want to call for more wine.
No wine.
Boyfriend, bring me more
Boyfriend,
wine.
please. Bring it to me now.
Fetch the wine.
I'm gonna train my cats to bring me more.
Yeah, that's what I need to do.
Can just make them little harnesses.
Oh god, it
Tip
probably
for next time:
exists.
just bring the whole bottle.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, well, I don't have anything else to talk about, unless you guys do.
Nerf.
Not really. I think I went through everything. Lauren, you got anything else?
I think we covered it.
I'm gonna take notes for the next one.
I needed to. I suppose I should look. Let me look at my notes. See if we. Nope. Yeah, we got everything.
Cool.
Overall, I would say the plot was better than expected, and the amount of sexy time was way, 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 way less than expected.
It's
Yeah.
very disappointing.
Zero being the yeah.
Yeah.
Unless you count that weird short story that was written after.
I might have to go
series.
read that now.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go read that. What was it? What was it called again?
It was called The Alpha Alternative. And it's just out on the internet, just so you can Google it. But it is from Jericho's point of view, so you don't get like the good descriptions, because he wouldn't describe his own dick, I guess, as they're
Yeah.
going to town. But apparently they have sex for like 4 hours, so
4 hours.
he got stamina.
For as much as she describes her own boobs, maybe he does describe his own.
Maybe. But yeah, just be aware that there's kind of a rapey filter implication kind of going on with that. So I didn't really find it sexy because the whole time I was kind of like, So
Good to know.
No means no.
good to know. Like, I don't know, other people might be into that kind of thing. That's the good thing about fiction, is you can explore all this, kind of on the line shit, but it's fiction, so it's not actually hurting any real people. So yay. So,
All
we
right.
covered everything. Do we want to
Yeah.
announce? Let's announce our next
Yes.
book.
Yeah, what are we reading next? Rap.
Yeah. So I
Cover.
believe the next book, it was Rachel's pick.
It was. We are going to be reading Some Like It Scott
With
by
one T.
Suzanne. But yeah,
One
Some
T.
Like It Scott by Suzanne Enoch. I don't know how to say her last name. I'm gonna Enoch, but she writes a lot of this kind of thing, and all her titles are wonderful. So I am super excited. So we're going to more of a classic kind of Highland sexy bodice ripper. Hopefully with this next
Yay.
one. So yay.
No way
Hopefully
we're
there
getting
will
out
be
of this
sex.
one with no sex.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I'll be very disappointed if there's no sex in this one too.
Oh my god, if there's no sex in this one, I give up.
I give up. Podcast over. 2 episodes done.
It's just a comedy full of puns.
That I actually might be okay with.
So yeah,
Alright.
that'll be next month, and we'll talk about it then.
Yep. We'll make a post on the social media pages. We have a Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. It's Bodice Ripping Podcast. So yeah, we'll make a post on that when I suppose they're just going to release at the same time, so that doesn't make any sense. I say we'll make a post when the episode releases, but if you're listening to this, the episode's released, so...
Maybe we'll throw
Congratulations! You won
throw
the
some
internet.
links down
Just go
somewhere.
there.
It'll be fine. You'll find it.
Yep.
It's
We'll,
cool. You know how to
we
use the
can-
internet, right?
Yeah, we'll
We don't.
make a post where you can find Some Like It Scott if you want to read along with us, or you could just wait for that episode, whenever that'll happen. So I don't know yet.
Yep. We're super good at knowing things.
Yeah, we're planners. You
Yeah.
Oh my
can
god,
tell.
this cover is wonderful.
The what?
I just looked it up. The cover's great.
Oh, the cover.
Oh.
Scandalous
All right.
Highlanders.
Ooh. Yes,
Ooh.
please. Is his shirt off? Is he shirtless?
Yes.
Is he wearing a kilt?
Excellent. Oh, that's
No, they
excellent.
are both wrapped up in the kilt.
Ooh.
Both. It looks
like there might be multiple kilts involved.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah. Be a good
I like
time.
it. I'm looking forward to this. This is gonna be a good one.
This will be awesome. All right. Thanks
All
for
right.
listening, guys.
Yep. Thanks for listening. We will catch you later. We need a better way to end these.
Yeah.
This is not going well.
Bye.
We'll figure it out.
Bye. Stay sexy, everybody.
I will say we probably can't use the stay sexy part. There's a very popular phone. There's a very popular podcast called My Favorite Murder that I listen to addictively. That
And they use that?
their tag is stay sexy, don't get murdered.
Ah.
So
Well, they got to it first, so
yes, they did get to it first, unfortunately. But we'll figure something
we'll
out.
figure something out.
We'll figure it out.
We'll have a bodice
Stay
ripping good
sexy,
time.
you non-alien people, you.
Yeah. Watch out for those rapey aliens.
Yeah.
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 Beware.
Okay.
Danger.
Actually, ending it now.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.